This is the Intelligent Human Voice podcast network with your host, the PatMan, on a Monday. I said that once, right? Well, it is Monday. Actually, it's Mondaze. I like to call it Mondaze. It's Unscripted Mondays. That's right. And while I'm recording this podcast, someone is texting me right now, but I can't look at it. But that's what mobile podcasting is all about. What do I want to talk about today? Oh, this is what I got to talk about. I hope you're listening. So, last week was a very powerful week. I interacted with some very awesome people all around the spectrum. It's like a reverse of the stuff I was going through. And, you know, if you put out the energy, we're energy. Bottom line. I don't care what you believe, what you think, what you know, what you think you know, what you don't know. We are energy. And it can change in an instance. It can change overnight. It can change in a heartbeat, but that's who we are. And when you put that energy out, it comes back. It comes back tenfold. So I say all that to say that, I made this, proclaim it. This proclamation, proclaim it. I made this proclamation that, some of the people I was hanging out with or was in my life, I had to stop hanging out with them because they weren't contributing to the good energy that I am. And who I am is just good energy. That's the bottom line. I came into the world this way, people. I came into the world this way. And when you have that good positive energy, other people can sense it right away. And there are those who can see it and sense it and feel your good spirit, and they'll gravitate towards you. And there's those that see it and want it because they ain't got it. They want it bad and they just want to absorb it and they want to be a part of it. But their soul is corrupted. They full of anger and resentment and fear and frustration and all that stuff. And it becomes a Me Too thing. Oh, that guy's just like me. Yeah, no, I'm nothing like you, partner. Nothing. I get along with everybody. 99% of the time, I get along with everybody. I used to say that, if there was, well, I still say it. If there's someone that doesn't like me, there's something wrong with them. Because I like everybody. Seriously, I like everybody. I don't see, I don't know. I can't explain it. I can't even put it in words, but I see human beings as human beings. I never seen the black or the white or the orange or the red or the purple people, orange people. I don't see nationalities, I've always just seen human beings. And, that's something I've always carried with me along my journey, since I was a kid, so that transcended into adulthood, and I actually feel sorry for people who can't get past anger and all the stuff I mentioned, frustration and resentment, and actually think that they're actually they're actually doing good in the world, that people actually like them. And maybe they're walking around going, I don't care if nobody likes me. I've heard people say that too. I don't care if nobody like me. It's like, well, you should. You really should. I mean, yeah. So this is Unscripted Mondays, and that's why I want to talk about for, some of the things of last week, because as I put out more of the good energy and got rid of all the toxic energies that was around me, it was like the universe just opened up. It's like, yes, like the universe says, yes, thank you. I've been waiting for you to do that. Now we can move forward. That was the last step that you needed to take. I'm sitting there like mind blowing, like holy shiitake mushrooms. Because, oh man. So moving into this new week, it just started off with a bang. And Sunday, I went to service at Agape Live International. If you don't know about Agape, if you don't know about Michael Beckwith, if you don't know about The Secret, if you don't know about Eckhart Tolle, if you don't know about Oprah Winfrey, if you don't know about Ayanna Vasant, if you don't know about Greg Braden, I think his name Greg Braden, if you don't know about Bruce Lipton, all the people I just named, they're awakened conscious beings. I call them my angels, my guides, my spiritual guides. They've been Deepak Chopra, Dr. Sebi. These are people who have been guiding me along the way, along my path, along my journey for the past, I would say 13 years or so. If I was to pinpoint one author in particular, who really started for me, it would be Ayanna Vasant. She has a book that an ex-girlfriend purchased for me many moons ago, and I hadn't picked it up and started reading it until maybe 2002. Yeah, around 2002, I was taking BART back and forth from Oakland to Walnut Creek. Oh, here's the thing about this book. So I'm reading this book. I think it's called this. Man, I'm still in the dark too. By the way, I'm in the dark in my loft, creative loft, downtown LA. I'll talk about that later. It's not important because, like I said, where there's darkness comes the light. You won't be in dark. You won't go through. If you're going through some stuff, just know it's temporary. It's temporary. Get over yourself. It's temporary. It's not like we always had electricity or, maybe did. I don't know. But this got me thinking about solar energy, because solar energy is here. It's always been here for us. We just have to learn how to harness it and use it. So I have a flashlight. I'm looking for the book. There's Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth. Let's see. I want to get the title right. But anyway, I'm reading this book, and there it is. Ayanna Vasant, Spirit of a Man. The Spirit of a Man. I got to read the foreword, or here we go. I want to read what Jesse Jackson said. Jesse Jackson said, Ms. Vasant is the first to offer a concrete path and process to spiritual, political, and economic power in a tradition that is familiar to us. Thank you, my sister, daughter, and friend. But there was something else on the front. That's what he said. A lantern Black men can use to find their way out of the darkness. of life in America. So if you are a black man or a black woman that has a black man in her life, or wants a black man in her life, give them this book, Spirit of a Man, vision of it's the vision of the spirit of a man, a vision of transformation for black men and the women who love them. So I'm reading this book, and like I said, I'd had it for a few years and I hadn't read it, so I picked it up and I was like, oh, this would be a good book for the BART ride. And as I'm reading it, I look up and there's another brother and he's reading it. I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell? So I go over to him and I show him my book. He's like, hey, where'd you get that? And we start talking. And he said the same exact thing. He said his wife bought it for him and he hadn't read it and he decided to read it on the BART. I was like, dude, this is crazy. And that's another thing I want to talk about, saying stuff like this is crazy or I don't believe. I'll come back to it. So I was like, what do you think? And he's like, I love it. He's like, it's stuff I never even thought about, There's rituals in there. It's just stuff living in America, you just don't think about. So brothers, go out and get the book. If you're not a brother, go out and get the book. Maybe you'll come to understand some brothers. This is Unscripted Mondays. I'm just flowing. What's another book I can recommend for you guys? This is what I want to talk about. In 2 years ago today, I made the decision that I was not returning back to my job of 8 years. I've been on that job for 8 years. I, did what I was supposed to do, and my health was at risk. And I went to my doctor. I told him, dude, I'm going bananas and my health is not okay. It's not okay. And when I start breaking everything down to him, he was like, dude, you sound like you need another job. I was like, well, I can't get another job in this state of unhealthiness. I got to heal myself, brother. He wasn't a brother. He's a white dude, but he's a brother. And, he's like, well, yeah, well, let me give you some time off and, get yourself healthy. It's like, done. Let's rock and roll. It wasn't that easy. There's more to it, but I gave you the short version of that. And in that process, I started my path of healing and wellness, and, start studying shamanism and meditation. I got deeper into the yoga. At this point, I've been practicing yoga for about 5 or 6 years. But I started getting into the philosophy of yoga, not what the West, is depicting what yoga is, about poses and moves. It's not about that, people. It's not about it. Nope. What Saudi Guru calls it, he calls it circus. You're not doing yoga, you're doing circus moves. Anyway, I'm not going to preach about yoga again. Here's a book. If you really want to get into the meditations, if you look on my Instagram, and I've recommended this for a couple of people, if they really, really, really want to get into some deep meditations, there's this book called De-Stress, Energize, Awaken through Chan Meditation. This particular meditation, it's going to take some time. Bottom line is, if you want to go deep, if you want to make that connection, you got to go deep. And it happens, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and then, you're transforming your life. And there's 15 steps. So that's a book that I'm recommending. It's changed my life. It's allowed me to sit in the dark while it's cold and rainy outside and got no power. I got a flashlight. But the podcast show still goes on. It's still going on. And I'm over my 15-minute mark. Doggone it. Time flies when you're having fun. This has been the Intelligent Human Voice Podcast Network. We're coming back on live very soon. Going to bring you the music, going to bring you some interviews, going to connect you with some other podcasters, some hosts that are coming on board to inspire, to edutain, to, get you fired up, give you something to listen to that's real out there. There's a lot of unrealism out there. And you need to be listening to the good stuff. That's right. The good stuff. I'm only bringing the good stuff, the positive stuff, the intelligent stuff. That's what I'm talking about, people. My name is the PatMan from Oakland to the Bay and beyond. I hope you have a great night. I hope you're listening to this podcast, and I hope you're inspired to do something different in your life. All right? Because as far as we know, it's this life and the next realm. The next realm is next. What's next? Who knows? You don't know, but, we're eternal beings. So ride this wave as long as you can. All right. Peace, love, and soul.